Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is November 18th, and right now we are looking at the visible satellite imagery. We got the Bay Area here, Los Angeles Metro down here. You can see some of these cumulonimbus clouds moving across some of central California here. Some embedded heavy rain, thunderstorm activity continuing on in through this morning, and we're going to keep that thunderstorm activity going on through this evening and tonight across Northern California. We've got mountain snow falling as we speak across the Sierra Nevada, and more incoming here for Northern California. We'll dive into those details as we go through the video here today. You can see the flash flood watch for the Smith River Complex burn scar there across Northern California. Big incoming precipitation, and this goes from 2 p.m. today to 7 p.m. today. This was issued this morning. Here's the Santa Ana wind event. Could be a moderate to strong event here. We'll continue to monitor this over the next couple of days, but some big gusts starting to show up. We'll go over some of that as we go through the video also. November 18th, this day in SoCal weather history. Check it out. Potent winter storm dropped 22 inches of snow on Big Bear Lake in 24 hours. Can you imagine that? What a storm, setting a November record. And you can see they finished the month there in 1964 with 45 inches, the snowiest November since 1960. Check out 1973 LA with a 55-mile-per-hour gust, marble size hail in Hollywood, and 1991 some strong onshore winds there as well. Now taking a look at the day 1 through 3 overall winter storm impacts. This is ongoing as we speak across the Sierra Nevada, and this is uptrended quite a bit here for the last few days, and this will be coming up this afternoon and evening, so heads up for that if you're traveling on I-5 back and forth across Northern California. Not expecting too much snow up there, but you could run into some winter driving conditions. Taking a look at the current hazards, winter weather advisories, wind advisories. We've got high wind warnings out there right now, so yeah, lots going on here to talk about. And this is the high wind warning in effect from midnight tonight to midnight Sunday night here with the north winds gust to 60 Santa Barbara interior mountains here. So heads up for that. We've got wind advisories across the area as well as we start to kick these west winds here. And some areas are going to be gusting higher than 50 miles per hour. And I'll show you that in some of the ensemble runs here in a moment. Here we're looking at the European 500 millibars, 18,000 feet, and you can see that low pressure center, the cutoff low off our coastline. It's been here for a few days now. Finally gets picked up by the westerlies, and it's going to get kicked through here, but it's going to be pretty windy conditions, as we've been mentioning the last couple of days across a lot of the higher terrain. And then the system kicks to the east, and we build a big ridge of high pressure here, especially across the Great Basin. It's going to be kicking those Santa Ana winds and the offshore flow across much of the state of California as we go on into the early portion of next week. Taking a look at the GFS, hot off the presses, total precipitation in inches. We're looking at the state of California. There's the Bay Area, Los Angeles, and as we go through the day today, you can clearly see this rainfall just really piling up across portions of Northern California and northern Sierra Nevada, and some snow will be ongoing as we go, and this will really be picking up during the afternoon and evening hours across the higher terrain of Northern California as well. But you can see for the most part across a lot of Southern California, not expecting too much more in the way of precipitation here before the system finally kicks off to the east and we start the offshore winds through early next week. Looking at the HRRR, the high resolution rapid refresh, this is lightning flash density potential, and you can see as the system moves across the area, it mainly ends across some of the valley areas, but it's not showing too much more lightning here across Southern California as we go through this afternoon. But look across Northern California. You can see these thunderstorms continue. Northern Sierra Nevada, Lake Tahoe, can't rule out a thunderstorm through this evening as well. And that kind of continues all the way towards midnight tonight and on in through the early morning hours as the system pushes through, mainly for Northern Nevada, on in through Utah into Sunday morning. And taking a look at Siskiyou County Airport, just kind of drilling it in here that if you're traveling on I-5 going northbound there, you might run into some wintry conditions. It shouldn't be too bad, but just a heads up for that. And if you want to know where Siskiyou County Airport is, you can see it's just off to the east of I-5 there. Crescent City off to the left there for reference. Here's Tahachapi. You can see on the NAM3 cam, it's calling for 51 mile per hour gusts out of the northwest there. So heads up for that. This will start mainly after midnight as we go into early Sunday morning. This is 29 Palms. You can see some of the gusts up over 50 miles per hour again out of the northwest there through Sunday morning is the windiest period there. And Big Bear City, check it out, up towards 50 miles per hour. You see the west and northwest component to the wind. Now here we go with Mammoth. Look at some of these wind gusts coming in here. I mean, 57 showed up in the latest European. Some big gusts also. Good ensemble agreement. Again, higher terrain. It's going to be really windy here as we go on in through the morning, Sunday morning. And look at Lake Tahoe. The control showed 78 miles per hour on in through Sunday morning here, and good ensemble agreement. So again, use caution if you are out across the higher terrain. Looking at Tahachapi again, and the European, definitely windier than the NAM3KM, 61 miles per hour. Good ensemble agreement there, and the ensemble mean right up towards 60 miles per hour. So this is looking at the European mean sea level pressure. And this is that cutoff low that's just been sitting off the coastline, taking its sweet time, finally getting kicked out as they go through tomorrow. And you can see that pressure gradient there across some of California. Also, it's bringing those big winds. But then you see that big ridge of high pressure set up over the Great Basin. And if you guys are been across California, especially Southern California for a while, you know what happens when you get that high pressure over the interior. You start the offshore winds across the Sierra Nevada, all the way across Southern California. And these could be strong at times. We'll continue to revisit this tomorrow as well. Looks like some pretty gusty winds with the Santa Ana wind event. This is looking at the NAM 3KM. This one's hot off the presses as well. And I'm scrolling backwards here, and you can see as we're speaking now that snow is still piling up across the Sierra Nevada. But then as we go through the afternoon and evening, you can see it start to pile up across the higher terrain of Northern California as well, including the higher terrain of Northern Nevada here. Finally wrapping up as we go through the day Sunday, but you can see some pretty impressive totals. This is going to look quite nice here if we clear out and towards the early portion of next week on the GOES 18 satellite imagery. You're going to see a nice coating across the Sierra Nevada and Northern California for that matter too. Lots of new snow. This is looking at 850 millibars, 5,000 feet. And what I'm showing here is Nevada and California. And this is the offshore wind event coming up here. You can see the pretty chilly source air over the Great Basin here. But as it blows out across the Sierra Nevada, it's going to compress and it's going to warm up. So you can kind of see it's above average at 5,000 feet for the coastal areas and off to the west of the Sierra Nevada. But it's below average here across a lot of Nevada and some of the desert areas as this north wind pushes down across the terrain, dries out, and comes out over Southern California. Some gusty Santa Ana winds. Now, taking a look at the European, this is 100-meter wind speed. There's our cutoff low here. Finally getting kicked out of the area as we speak today, but still big impacts across Northern California and some of the Sierra Nevada as we go through the afternoon and evening today, and the big winds start to switch here. You can see we had some southerlies initially as we go through the morning hours today, and then these switch out of the north and northwest here over the next couple of days, and then they turn offshore here to northeast with the Santa Ana winds blowing down across Southern California. You can also see the offshore component across the Sierra Nevada all the way up across the northern Sierra Nevada here also on the day Monday. This is looking at 925 millibars, temperature about 2,500 feet. So I want to put this into motion and kind of explain what's going on. You can see that next system rolling in here with the cold air aloft. You can see it set up shop here across the interior sections, but you can also see how it warms up as it moves off to the west with the offshore flow compressing Southern California. You can see those temperatures there pretty warm at 2,500 feet with the cold source air there across the Great Basin, driver of the Santa Ana winds here. And you can see it warm up pretty well there as you go on through Tuesday afternoon. Now looking at the NAM 3KM 12Z run, accumulated 10-meter max wind gusts. So as we go on into the early morning hours of Sunday, look at some of these winds across the higher terrain, all the way down across the Southern California higher terrain, the desert areas, Nevada, big wind gusts incoming here, folks. And then we turn them offshore for some big winds through the gaps and the typical Santa Ana locations here across Southern California. So interesting wind coming up here Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday here across much of the area. But anyway, yeah, fun storm. Still wrapping things up here. Can't rule out a thunderstorm here towards Southern California. But for the most part, looks like that is coming to an end. But yeah, interesting stuff here. And still Northern California, you got some things to go through here today. Some snow for the higher terrain, the gusty winds, the precipitation will be flying. Watch out if you are near some of those burn scar areas across Northern California. You could be dealing with some flash flooding as well. So I look forward to seeing what this looks like across the Sierra Nevada as we start to clear out early next week. Can't wait to see the GOES 18 satellite imagery on that. But anyway, hope you guys are having a good day. Be prepared for that weather incoming here, and we will do this again tomorrow, and I will talk to you guys then.